Good morning and good afternoon, everyone. My name is Jennifer Gale. I'm Vice President of Product Marketing, and today we're going to be talking about Skyhawk's Verified Automated Response. So here's our agenda for today. I'll be introducing our speakers. We'll go over the company overview and security challenges, and then I'll turn it over to Chen, who'll go over the need for automation, a platform overview, the overview of the Purple team and a verified automated response, a quick demo, and then we'll have time for a summary and questions. Throughout the webinar, if you do have any questions, please feel free to put them in the chat or the Q&A, and we will be sure to get to them. Okay, so first I'm joined by Chen Bershin, who's our CEO. He has over 25 years of technology experience in technology leadership positions, 10 years in security companies specifically and being very successful in the security space, and also 24 patents. So from very technical all the way up to leadership. So we're very happy to have Chen with us today. And then my name is Jennifer Gill. Oh, thanks, Chen.
Thank you for the introduction.
Yes. And if he doesn't like when I brag. So, and then my name is Jennifer Gill. I'm Vice President of Product Marketing, and I've been in high-tech marketing for over 20 years and have had leadership positions at Zerto, Commvault, and Pegasystems. So here's a quick overview of our company. So we have cloud security experts from a variety of leading companies, Dome9, Radware, Checkpoint, Cybereason. We were spun out from Radware in May of 22. So it's a proven technology that we wanted to give a little bit more of a focus on. We have a global customer base from small and medium enterprise up to the Fortune 1000. We'll provide more detail on the technology, but basically we support the major clouds, and it's a robust agentless SaaS-based cloud security platform. It's a cloud-native platform born in the cloud, built to secure the cloud. And then we're very proud of the recent awards and recognition that we got. So we got Stellar Startups from CRN. We were one of the finalists at Pitchapalooza that was put on by the Cloud Security Alliance at the RSA conference. And then we were a finalist in 4 Cloud Security Award categories, and we won Cloud Security Innovator of the Year with our AI-based autonomous Purple team in our robust cloud threat detection and response. Okay, so if we look at our cloud security challenges, most of our prospects and customers that we speak to, like, these are their top concerns. So there's a gap in cloud security. When you have a static environment, static security tools that you're trying to use to secure a dynamic environment like the cloud, there are going to be gaps. And it's difficult to stay on top of that and constantly updating those static security tools to make sure they're in line with your dynamic cloud environment. It's right now reactive. There's no way to be preemptive or proactive. It's an alert comes up, you have to resolve it. Cloud security teams don't really have a way to get ahead of things right now. There's a lack of resources. It's difficult finding talent, and there's always open positions on the team. And unfortunately, there are many tools that are helping threat actors, like AI. So they're able to create faster, more accurate, and more believable attacks. And we see this in other data, which is we see this in other cloud security data. So cloud attacks increased 75% year over year. The alerts that are coming in to the SOC are almost up to 4,500, and 83% of them are false positives and just not worth their time. But figuring that out in the first pass is very difficult. 59% of security team leaders feel that they have understaffed teams. And AI can really accelerate attacks, taking from 16 hours down to 5 minutes to put together a believable hook. So the cloud security team is really overwhelmed and has a significant hurdle to overcome. So I'm going to turn it over to Chen to talk about automation assurance.
Thank you, Jennifer. So Skyhawk, being a cloud threat detection and response platform, from our perspective, we know that our stack and technology stack is amazing at our detection capabilities. And still, we see that the market at large, by the way, it's cross-market, is hesitant in adopting automation of response. customers are usually hesitant with automation making more damage than benefit. And with that, we basically reached our approach of autonomous purple team, because what we actually saw is that there are many alerts, security teams are overwhelmed, and we're talking about near real-time detections of incidents. It's not posture alerts that they can address over time. These are incidents that they need to respond to in machine speed, and it requires automation. And at the same time, we see that trust became an inhibitor for adoption of automation, with two main factors, actually. One is, can we trust the alert? Can we make sure that the alert is true positive and not a false positive? Therefore, making sure that we invoke automated response for a true event. And second is verification of the automation to make sure that the response itself, the automated response itself, will not make more damage than benefit. So on the one hand, a huge problem, overwhelming number of alerts with the need to respond to at machine speed. And on the other hand, concerns around adopting automation. With the main question that we see is, so how can we address the trust issue? And Skyhawk's approach with the autonomous purple team is essentially providing AI-based time machine. Our approach is providing continuous and complete tabletop exercise. Basically, we are continuously assessing the environment with agentless breach and attack simulation against the cloud threat detection and response platform. So both red team side and blue team side, hence the autonomous purple team, are fighting against each other like digital twins, AI automation twins that are fighting against each other on the customer's environment, creates these simulations that are essentially making sure that there is a continuous protection, proactive, at a level that no organization is able to do automatically on an ongoing basis. It's a comprehensive testing of the environment, and it makes sure that there's no impact on production. We're talking about automation and allowing our customers to test the automated response, and it helps with prediction of the events. Once we run the red team side against the blue team side, customers understand what are the likely events in their environments, what are the likely attacks on their environments. They can pre-see the threats and the alerts the way they will be issued by the system. They can pre-label them, and they can pre-label automation to them. All of it giving you this assurance that both the alert is true positive and that the automation will not make damage to the production environment. In terms of our CDR, it's important to mention how our platform works. Basically, our platform is a deep technology with multi-layered AI stack. We receive telemetries from the cloud, logs, row logs, telemetries, from audit logs to network logs to DNS logs across various platforms, AWS, GCP, Azure, and we run this data through 3 layers of AI. The first layer finds indications of compromise through anomaly detection. Usually, anomalous detection products are pretty noisy and have a high rate of false positives. So we do not alert on these indications of compromise as they're on their own. We send them to a second layer of AI that does aggregation and correlation, therefore weeding out the noise, ignoring benign events, and correlating those events that are connected, related, and can actually show that there is malicious intent behind them. And this is where we issue our alerts, and then these sequences are going through a second pass of AI that acts like a virtual incident responder, and both gives confidence score by mapping the sequences to known attacks, and it's a force multiplier, basically a skilled AI-based skilled incident responder. And the end result, the tangible result, is also incident summarization. So a very, very powerful stack of technology. All of it obviously sits on our contextual engine. And when we look on the complete platform, basically, the blue side, the 3 layers of AI are basically being fought by the red team, the AI-based red team. So now we have AI-based red team that understand the contextual, the context of the environment, understand the least resistant paths, build simulated attacks that are scripted to the beat on the environment, and shows to the beat how threat detection will look like, with the end result being both verified alerts and verified responses. So the verified alerts are basically leveraging the simulation twins, and it provides prediction. When we run these simulation, we can actually see the alerts before they happen. Think about a customer that runs through an incident response, which is extremely costly. And usually after you do it, you have this aha moment where you say, you know, if I only knew what I know right now, I could have prevented this incident. And essentially, this simulation technology gives you exactly that. It gives you the ability to see ahead of time where you're vulnerable and how the detection will look like. Now, when we actually know how the detection will look like, we can pre-map an automated response to it. And this automated response can be pre-verified on its own. And all of it is AI assisted in order to make sure that scripting is easy. The continuous process basically works through discovery. It's important to say that in order to make sure that we protect the crown jewels, to make sure that you protect the crown jewels, the assets that you really care about for your cloud, we start with discovery. We start with a policy of what are the crown jewels of the environment. What are the assets that the business cares about the most? And we discover those. We then analyze the least resistant paths to these assets. We build the simulated attacks, which allows us to evaluate the various defenses, make sure that the right defenses detections are in place. And also, by the way, once we do it, we can help with hardening. Because now you see the real weaponized threats to the environment, and one of the outputs can be the combination of the knowledge of the context of the environment, both in terms of networking and IAM, to make sure that whatever preventive measures you can take them ahead of time in order to make sure that you harden the environment. But as we all know, we can't fix everything. Posture management solutions it doesn't mean that you can fix everything. So there will always be misconfigurations. There will always be certain exposures, and therefore you need to have these extra level of detections and observability to deal with them. But from our perspective, we focus on the weaponized risks and prioritize the preventive measures and the detections and the automated responses against them. Then this whole process have adaptive CDR that runs on the stream of data that automatically detects and creates new detectors in the environment. They are being added to the indication of compromise and then go through the second layer of correlation. which creates a tailored environment of adaptive CDR specific to the customer's environment with high rate of accuracy. And we can move to the next slide. To talk a little bit about our CDR and the three layers that we've mentioned, the first layer, the layer of indication of compromise, runs through a deep set of AI models. The first layer basically have all the log data, runs through it, it builds baseline, it does the anomaly detection in near real time, and creates an extremely accurate indication of compromise. But we all need to remember, indication of compromise on their own, anomalous detection, can be benign on their own. We need to connect a lot of them in order to make sure that there is malicious intent behind them. And that's exactly what the next layer is doing, where the next layer is doing this correlation and sequencing, showing all the various indications of compromise on a time scale, the whole kill chain, lateral movement, with all the evidence needed in one place. The end result is that if we look on a relatively small environment, what it will have is tens of thousands of events a month. Think about it. If we talk about 4,500 events a day in the SOC, right, from an anomalous behavior analysis perspective, you'll have tens of thousands of these events each month. You cannot analyze all of them. And then what we need to do is we need to make sure that we do the noise reduction, ignore the benign events, create sequences. The sequences can be then analyzed by the SOC. It has more context, it's much less events. They are being scored for risk, and they are being further analyzed by the virtual incident responders, so that eventually what you get as a customer is very few events per day that are extremely accurate. And the more detections we have at the top allows us to make sure that while the system is not noisy, we don't have false negatives. The more detections, the less false negatives. Through the layers of AI, a confusion matrix that provides high level of accuracy. I mentioned that our system is agentless, and I want to talk about this point for a second. I think that recent events in the industry amplified the agent versus agentless discussion. We all understand that agents add another layer of visibility, which is in the host, but they come with a cost. They require maintenance. There is resource consumption. It's another point for failures. Agents cannot protect paths. When we look on cloud native services like functions, lambdas, databases, RDSs, there are many services where an agent cannot protect them, therefore a cloud native approach is needed. And when we talk about agents with enforcement capabilities, they add another risk, a supply chain risk, because then it's basically another layer of exposure. When we talk about agentless approaches, deployment takes minutes, it's painless, there's no maintenance, it's all SaaS service, no host level collisions, no resources that are being consumed at the host level. It gives you full observability at the cloud level. There's much more trust and protection against AI-based threats at the cloud layer. So with all of that, let's move to a demo.
All right, so I'm going to stop sharing and it's over to you.
I cannot share my screen for some reason.
All right. How about now?
Now I can. Wonderful. Okay, so do you see my screen, Jennifer?
I do.
Wonderful. So our platform has many, many capabilities. I won't go over all of them right now. I just want to focus on the key capabilities that I mentioned. 3 layers of AI at the detection that are essentially detecting anomalous behaviors, indication of compromise, then correlating them, and then having the attack and breach simulation. What we see here is activities that are indications of compromise. And this is just a non-sorted, non-coordinated, non-correlated list of events. And imagine when you work with a CDR solution that doesn't have the 3 layers of AI, how many events you need to go through and correlate on your own and understand if there's a real event here. It looks like almost like working with a SIM solution that have all these rule-based alerts that you need to correlate on your own. This is the first layer, and that's why we do not alert here. We only collect this data, right? This is usually where most of the detection products will stop. We don't stop here. This is our first layer. The second layer is the layer of alerting. That's where we do the correlation. And here, we can basically look on multiple events and the swim lanes of progress. What we actually see here is the activities, the indications of compromise that were relevant. All the benign ones were reduced. Those that are or ignored, those that are here are those that are relevant, that could be correlated to indicate on malicious intent. And we can see them here, including vectors of progress and every evidence we need in order to analyze the event across multiple assets, user agents that were used, IPs that were used, APIs that were involved. All of it exists here. You can use the timeline view, or you can use a tabular view for analysis. It depends on how the incident responder works. And all of it together have multiple aspects. As I mentioned, we do all our calculations against crown jewels. And it's a key point because it will allow you to predict the impact before it happens. And the idea here, you can see an alert that has a crown jewel involved in it. And the idea here is that we see an unusual activity, and this unusual activity on the first step, before lateral movement even happened, we can anticipate based on the activities that if it will progress, it might land on a crown jewel. And this is basically the prediction that allows you through incident response, through analysis, to give higher priority to those alerts that where the impact may be related to an item or an asset that has high business impact according to your own policies. And that's basically the set of activities, and we can see more and more and more and more examples, including our ability to detect slow burn attacks, where the attacker basically stays dormant for a time if they suspect that they get detected, plus the extra layer of analysis. So this is our threat detection, the blue side. To that, we basically add the purple team, which is the attack and breach simulation that runs and tests the CDR engine. And what we see here is the attack recipes that the red team, AI-based red team built. Now, these are not pre-scripted attacks. It's an AI that was trained on weaponized threats, attack techniques, and based on the contextual knowledge of the environment, goes unleashed into the environment in order to make sure that we can use every technique, every method that we know of in order to build these attacks. We obviously map where crown jewels are involved in these attacks, which allows you to align your priorities with the business priorities. And what you see here is basically the recipe. What was the initial access method? What were the lateral movement? And what was the impact of these attack simulation? The next phase is basically when we get into drill down into the attack itself. What we can see here is the steps of the attack. Now, what's important to see here is the fact that we provide a scripted step-by-step, and it's updated to the beat of the environment, scripted attack. We can see it here through the attack script, as well as then seeing the indications of compromise where needed. We can also show explanation of our AI, the summarization of why the attack is valid. And there are many capabilities here that are using our approach where the system would alert, is there a crown jewel involved, the steps, the various steps of the attacks, and I can again show multiple attack recipes here and scripts. You need to remember they were built by an AI based on building blocks. It's not a pre-scripted attack. It's tailored to the customer's specific environment. It shows all the indication of compromise that will be presented during this attack so that it can be pre-labeled and have the whole remediation steps. So this is the demo. We're happy to obviously show the demo on one-on-one. Feel free to follow up with us. Jennifer, back to you. Jennifer, you're on mute. Back to you.
Thank you. Someday I will get the hang of that, taking myself off mute. Okay, so last slide. So this is just a summary of the platform, and then we'll be happy to take your questions. But I think you saw that it's a really proactive approach. It's preemptive with the AI-based autonomous purple team that helps you see where threat actors will go into the environment. It's cloud native threat detection to support CDR and CTEM, so the continuous threat exposure management, the verified automated remediation response. So you saw in the earlier metrics we had around some of the issues that cloud security teams are dealing with. When you have almost 4,500 alerts, it's hard to trust the automation when you know 83% of those alerts are benign or not a real threat. So with Skyhawk, since we're able to verify and show this is a true alert, you're able to take advantage of true automated response. As Ken mentioned, it's a simple agentless solution, which means onboarding in minutes, and multi-cloud in a single UI. So instead of hopping between different clouds and different products, your security team will get very well versed in Skyhawk. It'll look the same, whether they're in AWS, Google, or Azure. So they have that same interface. So that improves their overall productivity and it makes them more confident as they start to understand the threat exposures that they're dealing with. So I'm going to stop sharing and we're going to go over to a couple of questions. Let me see. So there we go. Okay. So first question is actually pretty easy. I can answer this one. So what's the pricing model for Skyhawk? So we price based on cloud asset and we offer volume-based discounts. So if you have, 1,000 or 10,000 cloud assets, then we're going to offer volume-based discounts there, but it's based on that. And cloud assets are things like machines in Azure, EC2 instances, S3 buckets. Those are the kinds of things that we're looking at when we're talking about a cloud asset. Let's see. How can I see the purple team beyond the demo? So as you mentioned, Hannah's happy to do this demo one-on-one, but I don't know if any of you have looked at our website today, but we just announced a purple team assessment. It's a free assessment. So we will actually install the solution in your environment and provide a report. And you'll get to see within just a day or two the weaknesses that we found in terms of your security and look at the assets behind that. So you'll see, gee, this is an impending threat on a crown jewel asset. And we've done it for a couple customers already, and they're very impressed. They're like, wow, these are real things that we didn't really know were happening in our environment. So it's been a really, really good response.
And probably worth mentioning on that point, Jennifer, that it's an amazing tool for channel partners. It's a great, great tool for channel partners. What we see from the channel that adopted these capabilities early on is that it provides them a great way to converse with customers on their cloud risks, and a great handout to provide. So an amazing tool for the channel.
Yeah, thank you, Hen. Great point. So, okay. And that's all we have for questions. We just had 2. So thank you everyone for joining us today. Hen, thank you for joining me on the webinar and doing a really great demo. I think it was a fantastic overview. Please check out our website, skyhawk.security. Please check out the press release. And we have many, if you want to reach out to us, there are many opportunities on the website to reach out. So thank you so much. Thank you, Hen.
Thank you, Jennifer. Thank you, everyone who joined.